In the grim darkness of the far future, there are few stories as tragic or as haunting as that of the Aeldari. Once the undisputed masters of the galaxy, they soared higher than any other race had ever dreamed. And then they fell. Their empire collapsed not from war, not from some external foe, but rather from their own desires. Today, we're delving into the origins, history, and enduring legacy of the Aeldari, the ancient elves of the stars. Long before the birth of humanity, before Terra was anything more than a dust-choked rock, the Aeldari ruled the stars. Their empire was vast, spanning the galaxy with wraithbone craftworlds, glittering cities, and psychic mastery that bent reality itself. The Aeldari were created, though not directly, by the Old Ones, the ancient architects of life who waged war against the Necrontyr and their star gods, the Catan. The Old Ones imbued their creations with the power of the warp, the immaterium, and they made it so that they would be able to wield psychic energy as both a weapon and an art. Of all their creations, the Aeldari were the most gifted, graceful, brilliant, and long-lived. They were born to dominate both the material and spiritual realms, and for millions of years, they did. Their society was beyond imagination, a golden age of art, technology, and psychic prowess. They could shape matter with a thought, heal with energy, and traverse the stars on waves of the warp. But even in this paradise, seeds of ruin were already being sown. Perfection led to complacency. Complacency bred indulgence. As their empire grew stagnant, the Aeldari turned inward, abandoning exploration in exchange for pleasure. Their society transformed into a galaxy-spanning orgy of senses and excess. Worlds became devoted entirely to vice. Entire cults rose in the pursuit of emotion, experience, and pain. And in the warp, their psychic excess fed something new. A presence began to stir, a dark reflection of their collective desires. This entity gestated for millennia, fed by the Aeldari's emotions, until in one apocalyptic instant it was born. This was the birth of Slaanesh, the Chaos God of excess. The psychic shockwave of that birth tore reality apart. Aeldari souls were consumed by the newborn god, entire worlds were obliterated, and at the heart of their empire, a new wound opened. The Eye of Terror, a permanent scar between the warp and real space. This event would be known as the Fall. It annihilated the Aeldari civilization in a single night of unimaginable horror. But not all Aeldari perished. Some, foreseeing the doom of their people, fled long before the fall. These survivors became the Craftworld Aeldari, vast, self-sustaining starships carrying fragments of their culture throughout the void. They live in strict discipline, repressing their emotions to avoid feeding Slaanesh again. Others took a darker path, the Drukhari, or Dark Eldar, who escaped damnation not through restraint, but through cruelty. They sustained themselves by inflicting suffering on others, feeding upon the pain of their slaves and captives in order to stave off Slaanesh's hunger. Then there are the Exodites, Aeldari who abandoned technology and pleasure alike, settling on distant worlds to live simple, spiritual lives. And beyond them, the Harlequins, mysterious servants of the laughing god, performing their endless dance between light and shadow, preserving Aeldari myth and mocking chaos itself. In the 41st millennium and beyond, the Aeldari are a shattered people. Their numbers are few, their glory long faded, and their enemies countless. Yet even in decline, they remain formidable. Their technology is unmatched, their warriors graceful and lethal, from the aspect warriors of the Craftworlds to the deadly incubi of the Drukhari. They fight not for conquest, but for survival. Every Aeldari soul is precious, for if slain, it risks eternal torment within the maw of Slaanesh. Wraith constructs, spirit stones, and psychic rituals all are desperate measures to cheat their doom. But despite all this, there is still hope. Rumours speak of the Ynnari, followers of Ened, the god of the dead, a new deity born from Aeldari souls, whom many one day destroy Slaanesh and unite their kind once more. Perhaps redemption is possible. Perhaps the Aeldari will rise again. From gods to ghosts, from empire to exile, the story of the Aeldari is a warning and a prophecy. They are the echoes of perfection, haunted by their own creation. Yet still they endure, because in the grim darkness of the far future, even the fallen stars still shine. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more Warhammer lore. Leave a comment below. Which Aeldari faction do you think has the best chance of survival?